I woke up one day and decided to challenge myself as a Pokemon Nuzlocke. I settled on the infamous Emerald Kaizo and made it my mission to play the best that I possibly could. No battle items, no EVs, and the AI was always on high. This is how it went. After the Norman battle, some random stopped by to give me Surf, letting me progress. I circled back to Mauville and talked to Watson so I can get an extra encounter at New Mauville. My first encounter ended up being a Magneton, who paralyzed me on the very first turn. I pushed through with rock smashes though until I was able to catch it without too much effort. Magneton is cool even without Sturdy. It's not like I would have preferred any of these encounters. I dove deeper into New Mauville but was terribly confused by this cock block and decided to learn to live and let go. Now with access to the move Surf, I go running around to find my first water encounter and I run into a Chinchou. With Pikachu, the idea was to outspeed and Surf, but I hit a crit, so yeah. Pikachu had an easy time grinding though, so that was nice. With no interest in what Steven has to say, I eagerly get through his text to get to battling every trainer. I was pretty excited to battle the Birdkeeper trainer because his team might give me some sort of insight into what I could find in Winona's gym. While Noctowl and Togetic were really interesting to me, it was both not challenging and not interesting, so half of this route was an absolute breeze. I did the cardio program of P90X plan trying to find just one damn encounter and I stumbled on Manectric. Its Wild Charge was devastating but did a lot of the whittling away for me, so I was grateful but cautious. Further north you could find me taking advantage of this last opportunity to catch a really good Mon. Manectric was too fragile and Magneton didn't have Sturdy or enough stats, so you can imagine my excitement when I bump into Absol. I play the Nidoqueen and get lucky again, but under pressure, I caught it. Seeing all the level 100 bugs was hilarious and shocking, but it wasn't a hard battle and it gave me much needed experience boosts, so that was a highlight for sure. Throughout the entire route, they actually provide you with multiple lucky eggs, so that was another much appreciated surprise. I challenged Team Aqua and I know it's because of my level gap, but I was relieved to breeze through the way that I did. I also want to take this chance to say I only over-leveled to compensate for the stat differences, especially since I'm by no means a professional player, and I will also admit that a large part of my playthrough has relied on luck. If I ever replayed this, I wouldn't do nearly this well. With all that out the way though, I was very proud of my Venusaur and the way he was manhandling this grunt and navigating the team to a win, even through a Wobbuffet. 6-0, bitches. We have lots of important fights to get to, so I won't commentate here, but this grunt was a nice battle, so enjoy. With that close call in the new Light Ball Pikachu I've been training up today, I was confident in leading with it as I faced off against the Team Aqua admin that was holding this weather institution hostage. Shelly over there started off with the Milotic, which had me pretty concerned because even with the Light Ball, it was bulky enough to live if I were to hit a low roll. But I didn't want to take recoil this early just in case I needed my HP, so I took the risk and I killed it on a prayer. Lapras was the second to bat, and even though its defenses and offenses are lower, it has 37% more health with stab on ice attacks, so I was still plenty wary. I finally bust out the Volt Tackle because I don't want to imagine what damage it could do to my team. With all that health, I took a hefty blowback, but that's 2 threats gone. Dragonite was a sneak attack of a pick for 3rd position. It had an advantage over everyone except Swampert between its move pool and Juggernaut offense. That being said, since its physical attack is a lot higher than its special, I decided to risk my Nidoqueen to summon forth the Hax God once again. She was able to take the Dragon Claw better than I had expected, so I was starting to feel pretty confident in my chances to tackle this thing. And even though Dragon Claw is special in this generation, it makes contact, so I nailed the poison point just like I hoped. Of course it had a Lumberry, but whatever. I slammed it back with a devastating Sludge Bomb, bringing it low enough for any of my mons to kill. But that was when they busted out a super effective Surf on Nidoqueen. Although I didn't expect it, looking back I should have because this is a water type trainer and it's not too uncommon for dragons to learn water moves. Regardless, I was grateful to survive. For the incoming Hypno, I used Altaria to tank it, and with the speed advantage, I air slashed hoping for flinches and managed to get one on the first attempt. The second one got it decently low, but Hypno slipped something into my drink and hit Hypnosis. So I decided to hope that my Charizard could tank since it's had a history of not taking attacks well at all. I was pretty nervous about the stab Psychic, but it wasn't even strong enough to do half, so I hammered away. Unfortunately, it lived on red, so I was shitting myself in case the last attack was a low roll. But by the good grace of God, it missed Hypnosis and was wide open for the kill. Medicham is a fighting type, so I expected to have some kind of rock move, meaning that Swampert was going to be my safe switch in. The Brick Break that it landed on me was pretty good, but I got an accuracy drop on my Muddy Water that actually kicked in immediately, making this battle a walk in the park. All I could do against Shuckle was stay in while it spammed Double Team, but the Goddess of Luck was smiling upon me because I still hit every move, wrapping up my battle with Admin Shell. As a side note, the cast form that I got as a reward had Mystic Water, and I could use that later. Dealing with the next May battle now, I led terribly with my Charizard, but that guarantees a Thunder since we're in the rain, so Nidoqueen was going to be my go-to since I wasn't sure if this thing had HP Grass. But the non-stab Surf did nearly 100 points of damage, leaving Nidoqueen weak enough to maybe not be useful to me anymore. After burying yet another obese rat in this playthrough, Chimecho came to take on Clefable since I expected it to be a special attacker. Ice Beam was at the bottom of my prediction list though, but I believe in the power of God Chimecho to get me through. I had no idea Clefable could even learn Thunder, and swapping to Swampert to take a second one backfired because almost like I got red, it used Hidden Power instead. But Earthquake rocked Clefable to its core, allowing me to push through with a great amount of health. Sceptile was next though, and while Charizard is an obvious answer, I spent my childhood being mocked as a Sceptile supporter, so I'm very well that it could have Rock Tomb. Unfortunately, it also gets Dragon type moves, but this was a risk I was willing to take. It shred through Altaria's defense like cotton candy, and I failed to push hard enough for a win. If it wasn't bad enough, Sceptile beat Charizard like Tina Turner with a serious critical hit, but I have Quick Attack. Nidoqueen likely knows a rock move or two, so I do the expected, but was a little thrown off when it opted for the Poison Tail attack instead. Thankfully though, the poison didn't stick, so I brushed off the Infertile Widow and I moved on to Feraligatr. Hydro Pump was a devastating attack to me, but in dramatic fashion, I stuck it out living with exactly 7 HP left. Even with Torrent though, I wasn't confident in the resisted damage, so I decided Earthquake was my safest bet, and the battle ended quicker than Kobe Bryant's rap career. Look it up. I was exploring Fortree City for shits and giggles, and this old lady is giving away a Zapdos for Blissey. I know I can't get this, but I thought it was cool and just kind of wanted to share. Birdkeeper Robert here led with Dodrio, who I realize is an incredibly powerful Pokemon to beat my team. It left my Chimecho and Pikachu on their deathbeds, and I only won because it didn't have a Lumberry. Then a Swellow fucked up my Swampert, so I couldn't Ice Punch the Altaria, and little did I know it had Ice Beam to counter my Nidoqueen. But I'm glad that I fought him individually because his tag partner put me through hell herself. I led Charizard because I expected Umbrella Girls to have grass types, but this Politoed was giving me trouble doing good damage with Surf, fighting through paralysis and flinches, leaving Swampert at 12. I swapped to Nidoqueen to fight Jinx and got instant confused on the Signal Beam, which thankfully I fought through because Nidoqueen was walking on thin ice, but we made it out there. Later, I got my Kecleon encounter, but it had Ancient Power, and when I tried Nidoqueen, it nailed a special defense drop on the first Shadow Ball, so I murdered it and moved on with my life. Going into the first gym trainer at Winona's, I expected not to see a flying type at first, but didn't expect Stantler. I Volt Tackle to push it out the way ASAP since I'm fragile and do the same deal with Pidgeot landing a crit. Sudowoodo slammed the living shit out of Swampert, but what's a treat to dirty Trailer Park Water. Altaria ate the Giga Drain and easily slashed the living shit out of Ludicolo, and Heracross got no scream time today. Raichu got to trade blows but was neutralized by Nidoqueen, and I was ready for the Surf. In the second trainer battle, Nidoqueen ate the Sky Attack and Mama Beared this pet shop souvenir with a critical hit. Pikachu came in on the spikes, giving a free session of conversion therapy. Look it up. I got a God-sent Thunder Wave on Tropius so I could drag it down to Earth with a double whammy. And as my two ground switchins go toe-to-toe, I smokescreen this chicken feet motherfucker while it tries to set up on me like I give a damn. It scored a Sky Attack, but I took it to the chest and spit more secondhand smoke in its face like the kinky son of a bitch that I am, and I BM'd it with Quick Attack. Pikachu came in on the spikes and ate an Ice Beam from nearly half health just to get frozen. I'm a risky motherfucker, but not even I want to take that 50% roll. So Chimecho got a T-Wave and recovered until Pelipper finally missed, so I could flash a few times because I'm a bitch like that. The Magmar missed its opening Fire Blast, and I lived the second one, so that was that. The rest of the gym battles went pretty similarly, but it featured Swampert missing 2 Earthquakes and barely surviving, Chimecho eating a Shadow Ball and toxic damage, a genius Charizard switching to trigger Blaze and mosh through the next 2 Mons, Guiding Chimecho walling a Hyper Beam slacking, triggering a miss on the second flash, tossed a lob to Charizard to suffocate this Medea motherfucker and slow roast his ass for a safe win. We were finally here to face Winona, and out of pure arrogance and ignorance, I tried to go in with just my Swampert. It caused a duplication glitch that caught me off guard, so I tried to see the 2 Mons in my party where it broke down and showed an empty party. Leaving that menu made my Swampert invisible, deleted their names, and when I tried to read the summary, it crashed. So round 2, I attempted this bullshit again and encountered an issue where my health bar jumps rapidly before slowly dropping, and it looks like an edit. So I said fuck this and restarted. For my genuine attempt, I brought Hariyama and Aggron despite knowing Winona's ridiculous opener. I flinched the Zapdos because I'm confident I can kill the Aerodactyl this turn, and I don't see Arrow going for a flying move here, if ever at all. Aggron absorbed the ×4 Earthquake, living with over 40% of its health, making me feel like a proud parent, something I've personally never witnessed myself. With Aggron, I unleash the beast and shatter Arrow's skull with a dick slapper of an Iron Tail. Hariyama's defense is trash, and I'm shocked it's still green, so I go to Flygon to save the fake out for later. Meanwhile, my Flygon took the stab Sky Attack like a champion, only to then be blindsided from the depths of the stratosphere with the second Sky Attack from the Thunder icon itself, and like a god, I ended up surviving with exactly 2 HP, giving Aggron the breathing room to launch a double assault with the Rock Slide, but he failed to secure the kill against the Crobat, which I was praying for. I switched to Chimecho expecting it to eat another double Sky Attack so that they can body themselves for me through the recoil. And like the true god, Chimecho took them so much better than I had ever expected, which was enough of a distraction to let Aggron finalize the battle and drop down with 2 tones simultaneously. I wasn't sure what I was going to do about the Flygon, and sure as hell didn't know what I wanted to do to counter the Articuno, because I didn't want to switch into any damage, so I decided to put out Hariyama again, fully willing to risk either of my big boys. Ask and you shall receive, because Aggron just couldn't take a second Earthquake, and sadly, he bit the dirt. At this moment, I looked at Articuno and processed what else Skyla had in the back of her team for me, and knew that I had to shout out the Battle Frontier Saga and bring out Charizard to Rock Lee style Primary Lotus this popsicle bitch from the top of the world. And without getting a second fake out in, Hariyama took the L for the sake of the main rotation on the team in exchange for just a little bit of recoil. It was time to bring back the iconic tag team duo Charizard and Swampert. Blazing fists galore, Charizard scores an instant critical hit in the face of this Dairy Queen mascot for an instant victory, forcing out the Moltres, avenging the Aggron I wanted to devastate this rubber chicken with. On the other end of the spectrum, Swampert ate a ×4 Giga Drain at health, channeling his inner Aggron before mirroring Charizard with an Ice Punch, shattering the goggles off of a fully replenished Flygon to tear it down from podium and bury it underneath the gym with no ceremony. With both of our fallen comrades avenged, I call for a smokescreen, not thinking Charizard could contribute here, but it instantly helps Swampert dodge the incoming hidden power, channeling his Aggron once again, giving him the leg room to fire off a Rock Slide to shatter every wishing bone in the bird brain's body. We have 3 more deaths than I ever expected, but we've championed, and we hold our heads high, carrying our friends' feelings on our shoulders.